January 1842. 16,000 people marched out of Kabul. Only one man would arrive alive. This is the story of how an army disappeared and how one man refused to die. The British invasion of Afghanistan had collapsed into chaos. Cut off, starving, and surrounded, a retreat was negotiated. But the agreement for safe passage was fragile and already breaking apart. What followed would become one of the most catastrophic retreats in military history. On January 6th, around 16,000 people left Kabul. Only a fraction were trained soldiers. The column stretched for miles. Families, servants, wounded men, dragging themselves through deep snow. Within hours, the first shots rang out. Afghan fighters attacked from the hills, and the retreat turned into a massacre. Among them was William Brydon, not a commander, not a warrior of legend, a surgeon. Brydon was one of many officers suddenly thrown into a fight for survival. Day after day, the column was shredded apart. Ambushes, snipers, freezing nights that killed as surely as bullets. Discipline collapsed completely, units dissolved, and command vanished. This was no longer a retreat. It was a slow-motion destruction of an army. Brydon rode with a small group of survivors, then fewer, then almost none. Soon, Brydon was by himself. He scavenged scraps of food from abandoned baggage. Anything to stay alive one more hour. Then came the moment that should have ended his life. Afghan fighters caught him. A sword struck his head. The blow was partially absorbed by a folded item inside his hat, likely a book or magazine. It didn't save him completely, but it saved him enough. Bleeding, dazed, half-conscious. At one point, Brydon fell from his horse, left for dead in the snow. Many in his position simply never got up again, but he did. He dragged himself back onto his exhausted pony and kept moving, not because he was strong, but because stopping meant death. Days later, a single rider appeared outside the walls of Jalalabad. The garrison could hardly believe what they were seeing. One man, alone, barely alive. They opened the gates. When asked where the rest of the army was, he answered, "I am the army," a line preserved in multiple historical retellings, capturing the scale of what had just been lost. Brydon became known as the sole survivor. But in that moment on that day, he was the only one who made it through alive. This wasn't just survival. It was endurance beyond reason, beyond pain, beyond hope. A man who should have died again and again, but didn't, because sometimes history isn't written by the strongest. It's written by the last one left alive. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.